Okay, today we're going to be adding the text to our project. And I wanted to show you this image of Martin Luther King Jr. that I found on the internet because you'll notice it's a little bit blurry. If you're working with a subject from the past and there are not a lot of high quality digital images of that subject, you might need to just work with what you've got. This one is not too bad, but this one did not show up when I did a search for large images. I had to search for all sizes and I found this one and I put it in the 8.5 by 11 with the 300 pixel per inch document, and it's not too bad. It is blurry, and if I were working with a subject that was younger or current, then I would expect a higher picture quality. But if you're working with somebody like Martin Luther King Jr. or Marilyn Monroe or any old-time politician, actor, actress, musician, somebody like that, then don't feel like you have to get that really high quality, high resolution image because they're just not available. Okay, and this one will end up turning out okay. So let's start on our jelly bean image. And this is just how we left it. So we have our jelly bean layer and our jelly bean copy layer. And I'm actually going to turn both of those layers off. And I'm going to go down to my background bottom layer. I'll turn my history off for a second, and I'm going to Command minus just once so that I can see the edges of my document. Then I'm going to go to my type tool, and that is indicated with a capital T. And I'm going to come up to the upper left-hand corner, and I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm creating a text box. And I'm going to go down to the lower right corner. So I want to get those marching ants. If I can get that perfectly along the outside edges, that's my best bet, and let go. Now when I did that, if we go over to my layers panel, you'll notice I have a new layer now, and that layer has the capital T, and that is a text layer. And a text layer is a little bit different than a pixel layer. Text is actually vector in Photoshop until you rasterize it, if you ever do rasterize it. So as long as you keep it this text layer, you can go back and edit that text anytime you want to. Now, up at the top are your type tool options, and you want to choose a font that's going to be easy to read. Okay, and I landed on this Museo Slab font, which is, I think, a nice, easy to read font. So I'm going to keep that. You want your text size to be 12 points, and you have your text color right here. Also, we're on left justified. Keep it on left justified. You don't want to be center or right, so left justified. But your text color, I'm just going to make it black for now. It really doesn't matter because you're going to add an effect layer on where that text color is going to be irrelevant. But right now, I want to make it black so I can see it easily. And then I'm just going to start typing things about Jelly Bean. So the first thing I'll do is type in his name and watch for spelling so that you don't have to go back and fix all that. So Jelly Bean, and then I'll put a space. The next word is playful. And I'm just thinking of all sorts of things about Jelly Bean. This isn't really a word, I don't think, but he licks constantly, so I'm making up my own word called licky. Jelly Bean is licky. Okay, and I'm going to stop right there. When you're doing a list of words, it's actually better to not go all the way to the end. If you need more space and you need more words, go ahead and go to the end, but then continue on this side. It's best not to have just one line of text because you end up getting these weird patterns in your text. And so what you want to do is you want to highlight all of the words once you're done. Hit Command C on the keyboard to copy those words. And then I'm going to go in front of my last word, hit space, and Command V. And then I'm just going to keep hitting space and Command V. And I'm going to do that all the way down. Okay, when you get all the way down to the bottom, you'll see I have a pattern going right here. Okay, but it's better than having it going down like in vertical rows all the way across. And that's what I meant by if you go all the way across and then you copy and paste all the way down, you're going to have these patterns going all the way down between every word, and we don't want that. The other thing we don't want is we don't want this, these spaces over here on the right hand side. So this step is really important. So first you want to accept your text up at the top, and then you want to hit Command T on the keyboard to do a transformation. And when you transform this, you're going to hold Shift and pull from the corner only. Pull from the bottom right corner. And I'm just going to pull this text out until those spaces are gone. Don't worry that some words are now going off of your composition. That won't matter because you have them repeated everywhere. Okay, so I think that's a good spot, and I'm going to accept. Now you'll remember that I asked you to start with a 12-point font, and you'll notice that now if I look at the top, I'm at 12.79, and that's because I transformed it to get rid of those spaces. So please start with the 12-point font, and then as you transform, you can go anywhere as high as about 14 point and still get full credit. But if you're 16 point or higher, you will lose points for that because that means you did not start with a 12-point font. So it's okay to be in the range anywhere from 12 to 14, maybe even 15. But above that tells me that you did not start with 12 points. So please keep that in mind. I'm going to File, Save, and I'm done with my work for the day. But I do want to show you a different case if you're working with an image like the Martin Luther King Jr. image and you're getting text online. Okay, so you're going to do a search for whatever it is this text is, and I already did that. And for the sake of time, I just copy and pasted that text into my folder on a Word document. And so this would be the same as copying it off of the internet. And so I'm going to just grab all this text. I'm going to Command C to copy it, go back into Photoshop, and I'm going to turn these two layers off just like I did with the jelly bean image, and I'm going to activate my type tool, zoom out once, Command minus, and I want to get that text box from the upper right hand corner down to the upper left hand corner. Try to get that right there so I can see the marching ants. And now I'm just going to hit Command V. Now that seems like it might have been a lot easier. However, I have some fixing that I have to do, so it's not necessarily easier. Less typing, yes, but then you have to go back and fix up. So I have this long gap right here. So I need to go in front of the B. Use the arrows on your keyboard to help you position your cursor, by the way. I find that really helpful when I'm doing this. And I'm going to hit backspace, and then I need to hit the space bar to get a space between there. And I'm just going to keep doing this. So I'm going to click between the I and the N and use the arrow to get in front of the I, backspace, space bar. I'll do this all the way down until I have solid text. Okay, and then if you get to the bottom and you have a big space at the bottom, you can copy some of the text at the top and paste it again. But my space isn't really big, so I accept it at the top, and I'm just going to use that transformation trick to pull this out, holding Shift. So I'm looking at the bottom and also the sides on the right hand side, so that I have no spaces over there. Okay, so that looks good for that. Okay, so I'm going to File, Save, and get ready for next time. Please let me know if you have any questions.